Like myself, I think you're going to be very interested in this story that we're going to tell you. And in this age of missiles and man-made moons, it takes on added significance. There are no actors in this story, but there are a lot of people. The people of the city of Portland, Oregon, and what happened to them, or could happen to them, on a day that we'll call X.
7 o'clock this evening, Eastern Time, air and naval forces of the United States launched a series of strikes against the headquarters, terrorist facilities, and military assets that support Muammar Gaddafi's subversive activities.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the report that enemy planes are approaching.
Libya sits directly between Tunisia and Egypt.
I've been over to the Middle East before, and I had an amazing time.
Go on, get moving.
I like it here.
Well, I can change that in a hurry.
This is the land, between the mountains and the sea, between the snow-capped crater of Mount Hood and the Pacific. It's tall timber country. And this is the city, largest dry cargo port on the Pacific coast. And its people are friendly and rugged in the tradition of the Oregon Trail. Population, about 415,000, more or less about the size of Hiroshima.
As for police activities, the city is about 65% evacuated. Traffic appears to be moving at about 15 miles an hour outbound. The state and county police have set up an effective roadblock diverting inbound traffic.
"99 cities in the United States are considered critical targets, and Portland is just one of them. And it's so hard to know in advance how any man will react when that day comes.
It seems like we've got a few hundred people holding a candlelight vigil and doing a lockdown.
Let's face facts, gentlemen. If we have a blast on target, downtown Portland, it will be hours and probably days before we can get back in."
At police headquarters, the messages at 10:31 so far indicated 2 cars stolen, a drunken disorderly. An average day in an average American city.
There's no panic among the children. They've rehearsed this before.
So you want collateral damage, huh? What the fuck are you? I give you fucking collateral damage. You want collateral damage?
As the reports continue, it is obvious that the Portland plan is working smoothly. Only 7 years earlier, Portland had no civil defense. It was then that the idea that civil defense was not to be separated from normal government evolved. And the twice-weekly meeting of the city council was much involved, too. A matter of sewer maintenance was one of the problems up for discussion.
City Council, come on down! City Council, come on down! City Council, come on down! No secrets, no spies! We want our civil rights, no secrets!
supposed to use? Is it the NSA one or the Langley one?
Hi, we're live here with B Media. I'm Desmond Wolf, in front of City Hall in Portland, Oregon. It appears that we have a wide spectrum of everyday Portlanders. They seem rather upset that the whole City Council is actually considering getting back onto the Joint Terrorism Task Force.
The Joint Terrorism Task Force is the FBI's domestic spying program.
Between local police, the FBI, ICE, immigration, other agencies for secret intelligence as well.
We're already living in enough of surveillance culture.
No one's listening. Now they're listening, damn it. Everyone's listening. Sam's listening. Sammy.
Sam Adams. This is one way to speak to you. I'm Karen Coulter, and I just wanted to let you know that the FBI has a history of repressing the people with the environmental movement. It's infiltrated and framed people for terrorism they never intended to commit.
It's kind of ironically named because it seems like they're the real terrorists.
So it's a war against us.
And setting up these scapegoats so they can terrorize people into going along with them,
Mohammed Osman Mohammed, who's a young Somali man who was given money, given an apartment, given a van, and really egged on by the FBI the whole time to conduct a terrorist activity, which is to blow up a Christmas tree in downtown Portland.
I was going to buy a Christmas tree this year, and I decided not to because I figured they might set me up to be a terrorist as well.
I know that when they were here in 2005, they were investigating the Sisters of the Road. They were investigating Cop Watch. They were going in there in all these just support programs and infiltrating them. Vegan potlucks in Minnesota, hello, what?
Those enforcement agencies act as though they were defending themselves from national security threats on a local scale and towards local organizations.
I mean, these are thought crimes against freedom of speech.
The city is saying that, again, they are deliberating, they're looking at more public opinion. We know that for a fact, as they told us here today, that they've been getting flooded with emails.
And we, the people of Portland, the People's Republic of Portland, ask you to stand up to this and not rejoin the Joint Terrorism Task Force or allow the FBI to tell us how to conduct our business in any way in the city of Portland.
Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz. I said come back tomorrow.
If you were really great and powerful, you'd keep your promises.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz? You ungrateful creatures think yourselves lucky that I'm giving you audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now. Oh, the great Oz has spoken. Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
I always put a caveat especially when I talk in Europe and they ask me about gold. Yes, I work for a gold company, they pay me. So a grain of salt when you're listening to me. They wouldn't pay me if I would say anything bad about gold. So put that into your consideration when you're evaluating my comments.
And now we continue our wake-up show with more transcribed tunes.
We're here to protest specifically the Adage biomass incinerator in Shelton. The idea is pretty simple despite a lot of scientific jargon they throw out. It's basically burning trees to generate energy.
They want to burn wood, trees. They want to cut down trees in our forests and burn them to make energy.
What makes this thing viable is the components of the consortium. Duke Energy is the largest carbon polluter in the United States, so if they can be a partner in these biomass facilities, a carbon credit that's put in place by the United States Senate would offset their carbon emissions from coal plants, because from the Midwest to the East Coast they provide the majority of power through coal and oil burning.
Their claim to justify it being environmentally friendly is that it would be waste wood, but the reality is that there's just not enough waste wood out there, and that timber prices are so low right now that they need something to do with timber, and this is just a way to diversify their market.
You know what's really good? Geothermal heat pumps. Look it up. You know, the Earth, if you go down 5 to 10 feet, right underneath us, the Earth stays about 50 degrees all the time.
These carbon credits become a huge business. It's estimated by 2020 that carbon credits will be a $2 trillion a year business.
It's really important to note that most of the carbon emissions and environmental destruction that happen in the world are coming from corporations and from war. And so if we're serious about confronting climate change, we should also be confronting global capitalism and confronting imperialism.
And Mrs. Frank Stufel, Portland housewife, mother of 5, was concerned at 8:02.
John, it's time to get up. You'll be late for school.
Children late and coffee boiling. And with these problems duly appraised, she turned to the woman's page of the Oregonian, thus managing to avoid the front page, which, after all, contained nothing but scare headlines.
To report heinous crimes against humanity, and he is being punished. His life is on the line. He has been charged with offenses now that could give him the death sentence.
If convicted, Manning could face the death penalty. That's up to a military judge to decide.
Remember, this has not been proven, but if he's the one who released it to us, that's the only reason we know what really happened.
That's right.
And we need to know what our government is doing in our name.
We have a right to the truth. 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 Bradley Manning is a truth teller, and the truth is not illegal.
In the Army, the aiding the enemy charge is as close to treason as they can possibly get.
$1 trillion, $1 trillion goddamn dollars on these 2 wars. What can we do with $1 trillion to help people? We need money for education. We need money for housing. We need money for health care. We need money for anything but war, because war, what is it good for? Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Except making a few people rich, and those people have the power.
They work for us, remember that? They work for us. We need to remember that. We haven't done enough. It's up to us. We need to be out here. We are all Bradley Manning. Who are you? Bradley Manning! Who are you? Bradley Manning!
There are war crimes being committed around this globe in your name with your tax dollars, and you are not being told about it. It changes today.
That young man, fully knowing that he was in danger of losing his freedom for perhaps his entire life, went ahead and did what he did for all of us. It's very important that all of us respond the same way. Everything you can do, even things you think you can't do, is within your grasp. Make a difference. John F. Kennedy once said, I believe that anyone can make a difference, and that everyone should try. Go and do it.
You know, if you ask somebody, gee, did the Department of Defense waterboard people at Guantanamo, many people would say yes, and of course the answer is no.
During the civil rights movement in the 1960s, access to many businesses was blocked as a peaceful protest against segregation. Today much business is conducted on the internet. We are using the LOIC to conduct distributed denial of service attacks against businesses that had aided in the censorship of any person. Our attacks do no damage to the computer hardware. We merely take up bandwidth and system resources like the seats at the Woolworth's lunch counter.
And it's so hard to know in advance how any man will react when that day comes. There will be those like Ben Conrad the mechanic, who has heard the sirens before in practice, and who will disregard them. And there are those like Tom Cook who can't go. He's one of the power load dispatchers for all electric power in the Northwest. These men are expendable.
prevent radioactivity. We're gonna use milk thistle, chaparral, dandelion root, and Oregon grape root. Let's start by putting about a teaspoon milk thistle seed and the milk thistle leaf, and they prevent toxins from entering the liver. Chaparral prohibits tumors from growing. Dandelion root and Oregon grape root. It's really bitter. You can find it around your yard, around Portland. It cleanses the blood, improves kidney, spleen, and stomach function. So you can kind of swirl it up. Pour hot water on top. Steep for about 5 minutes. We live in a radioactive environment, and there's bombs going off, there's wars happening. And you have to move it out. Poop it out! Not bad. A little bit leafy, a little bit earthy, but it's better than radiation. The government's fucking trying to kill us.
How is it possible for this thing to be triggered automatically and at the same time impossible to untrigger?
Mr. President, it is not only possible, it is essential. That is the whole idea of this machine, you know. Deterrence is the art of producing in the mind of the enemy the fear to attack.
Like all communities, religion is important. The people, like its church architecture, are forward-thinking. At 9, a special service is being held. And at the busy port, at 9:18, Ray Matthews, a longshoreman, loaded scrap iron bound for Japan.
I'm Donatella the Truth, and we are here at Senator Wyden's office in Salem, Oregon, talking about the South Korea Free Trade Agreement and the exciting new development that Senator Wyden is going to be the first senator in this entire country to outsource his staff overseas. We can't wait.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. My name's Donatella DeTrude. I'm here with Channel 64. We have a meeting with the senator. Senator has an exciting new proposal to outsource his entire staff to South Korea. Have you heard about this proposal?
No, I have not.
No? Do you speak Korean?
No, I don't.
Do you anticipate that you'll have to train your new replacement? What company do you work for, sir?
Free Trade Movers.
Free Trade Movers. We're really unsure what's going on, but Senator Wyden has not told his staff that he's moving them to South Korea. I'm sure they're distressed. This is the particular box that the senator's staff will have to go into. I have a feeling that he's not quite that flexible, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen.
And of course, we can put 2 boxes together.
Oh, okay, great. Do you feel like you'll be able to fit into this box?
No, no.
I'm getting word that they anticipate that the South Korean Free Trade Agreement will increase the number of jobs shipped overseas. They're estimating it to be in the hundreds of thousands. It sounds like a real tragedy, a real devastation for the city of Salem and all of our surrounding cities.
Our clock radio.
So that his staff know when to wake up and come to work.
Which box?
Do you want to
it's got coffee in there, watch it, it's hot coffee.
Okay, yeah, well, that's okay. The staff person can use that.
All right. This is a lot of stuff. Yeah, so he'll have phone numbers for when to call back his constituents. That's great. So do you guys like put food in their box with when the people get shipped?
Yeah, we have sandwiches and something to drink, and then of course a little potty. We're getting more and more work moving the equipment and the whole operation to these other countries. It's a real growth industry, and we're really proud of it. We're doing very well, and with this free trade agreement, we expect to have a whole lot more business. Business is already picking up, and the thing hasn't even passed yet.
Next time we do this, would you promise to come up here in New York? We'll do it for longer.
Usually when somebody talks about assassination attempts, they don't want me too close to them.
Ollie North, it's a pleasure no matter what we're talking about. Thanks for joining us.
The following political program sponsored by Citizens for Reagan Committee. Government should be of the people, by the people, for the people. That government, of the people, by the people, for the people, arrived that night in California.
You know, actually, the survival of this entire nation depends upon the ability of federal, state, and local governments to carry out their responsibilities in the event of a massive nuclear attack. Each new scientific development in the weapons of war presents a new challenge. And the people of Portland, through working together, they're ready.
Wake up, Portland. It's a wonderful day.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
This is Robert Tulsa for Rap News once again, and what an eventful past few months it's been. History has certainly been happening, pyramids crumbling and regimes unraveling.
This is the war you don't see on television. The people have had it with this fascist prison for